Good morning and welcome to the Stahls TV Morning Show. I'm Zach.
I'm Josh, and it's a
happy Cyber Monday.
Happy Cyber Monday to everybody out there. Thanks for joining us on GoToWebinar. And also for those of you watching on Facebook Live, feel free to chat in your questions, and we'll stop several points throughout the show and direct those in and do our best to help you. So we have some interesting topics today, but first, let's talk about some Cyber Monday deals.
Cyber Monday deals. I feel like Black Friday, even online, I know Target was offering 15% off on yesterday and today. Walmart started their Black Friday deals online last week. What's Stahls doing for Cyber Monday?
What's Stahls doing? We had some cool specials for Black Friday that we emailed out that were discounts on letter and number kits, but for Cyber Monday we have an exclusive deal that's free shipping online on $99 purchases and over, and you just use the promo code Monday16, all one word, Monday16 at checkout, and you can get that free shipping. And then another one of our sponsors, that's the Stahls company, Imprintables Warehouse, has a really great deal.
25% off all heat transfer vinyl and 10% off all signed vinyl.
That's right. And then free shipping on equipment as well. So if you've been holding off a purchase on any equipment, today is a good day to buy as any. You don't need to just buy retail stuff, buy wholesale deals for your business here on Cyber Monday. Around the web, if you're a screen printer, Ryanette also has some awesome deals at screenprinting.com. 40% off some products, 30%, 20%, different lists on their homepage.
You weren't here on last week's show, but we were talking about organization, storage, and how to best utilize our inventory of vinyl. One of the polls that we took was how many of you actually keep an inventory of vinyl. 65% of our viewers on last week keep an inventory of heat transfer vinyl, so stock up and save. You'll use it this spring.
You know you're going to use white, black, red, all your core colors, school colors. So good time to buy. In other news, last week, I think it was, Thanksgiving Eve. The answer's up here. Thanksgiving Eve, we kicked out our long-awaited Stahls TV Thanks for that. Stahls TV Blueprint series. And this is one that we've been extremely excited about, where we got to visit Moose's Enterprises back in, I think, August at this point, right? Yep, you'll go with it. So I want to show you where you can find it and watch that series on Stahls TV. Just go to stahlstv.com/blueprint, and there's a whole landing page here for the series because we do plan to launch additional episodes. But this is episode 1, our premiere, a 40-minute episode that goes through our visit to Moose's Enterprises. And the reason that I love this, and we're getting a lot of positive feedback already in the form of comments on YouTube, is because you get a real-life view into an apparel decoration shop to get tips, tricks, not only from us that we were able to help them with, but things that they were already doing well.
Yeah, it's a great look at a successful small business and all of the challenges, or a lot of the challenges that they're facing as they try and continue to grow the business. They're currently it was 4 or 5 employees, I believe, when we were there. Yeah. They want to double that over the next couple years, so just finding ways to help them get there.
Yeah, so that's highly recommended. We'll be launching the second episode of the Blueprint. Fingers crossed, hopefully it'll be a Christmas gift to our viewers here. So we're looking forward to that. Also, last week, we launched...
Tell you what,
stop it.
There's so much happening on the ceiling today.
We launched... I'm thinking. I have to dive deep into my thoughts. I've been off for quite a few days here with the holiday. But we launched our Project Press It video of the week, and I want to pull up an image here of a terrarium. So this gives you a 5-color heat transfer vinyl tutorial. A lot of work and detail went into this, and I just think this is a cool lesson to inspire you.
Did you know what a terrarium was before this shirt was made?
I'd like to say yes, but absolutely not.
Yeah, I heard that story that you had to ask what a terrarium was. So for those of you who don't know what a terrarium is, it's an aquarium except with dirt instead of water.
Yeah, and it makes a great Christmas gift. So if you're Cyber Monday shopping, looking for ideas, they sell these for kids that they can do. And of course, this would make a great gift for your mom, your aunt, whoever likes to grow.
Whoever likes to grow stuff or see little animals in the dirt.
Yeah, and so you can find that on Project Press It on the stahlstv.com website. You can look up. We launch one of those every week to inspire you, and they're typically out-of-the-box projects. And I know we have a good one coming this week as well. And then last but not least, in the form of news, we want to feature our look of the week, which is Courtney Levity. I probably butchered that, so I'm sorry in advance.
Sure you did.
Courtney from Tucson, Arizona. And this one plays perfectly into children's apparel as well. Some of the things I like about this, number one, is that it coordinates with the pants, and you see the custom glitter flake design. And there's a lot of going on here in this design, but it looks good.
It's like there's confetti all over the shirt.
Yeah, it's like you're throwing thanks around like confetti.
Yeah, we have a couple different fonts that are happening here, which is a really popular thing that's happening now. Typography has kind of taken over children's apparel design, as well as some adult apparel as well.
Yeah, so that's a cool element of it. Also, there's little clip art elements thrown in there to make it a more cohesive design. I like the way that it alternates colors, coordinates with the leggings or pants. And then another key point about this is how she's presented this through the photo, which makes it perfect for sharing on social media or listing to sell on your e-commerce platform, because it really brings the garment to life and how you would pair it up with an outfit.
It's actually amazing, I think, design-wise. A lot of the looks of the week that we choose and a lot of what you're seeing in fashion and retail is all built around typography, how the fonts are mixing together, where it used to be you just wanted to use the same type of font on anything that you were doing to not confuse the user.
Yeah, if you used another font, all of a sudden it was like, ugh.
Ugh.
Yeah, and now you're just mixing and matching.
Desirable.
Okay, and so let's talk about a little bit more in depth about markets that you can be selling to. And this is installment number 5 on our series, 7 markets you should be selling apparel to, and it's specifically children's apparel. So let's roll that for you now. I'm Josh Ellsworth with Stahls TV, and welcome to this installment of 7 markets you should be selling to. Today's market is one that is big for personalized products, and that's children's apparel. Think about it. There's personalized blankets at the hospital when the child is born. There's the opportunity for the first stuffed animal commemorating the birth date. Even a personalized onesie or a wall graphic for the nursery. And then there's the opportunity for a personalized bib or birth cloth. And all of this before they're 1 year old. Gifts are also a big opportunity for personalized products, and people seem to like to buy gifts for kids' birthdays. So just consider this, whether it's a birthday t-shirt for the actual day of the event commemorating their age, could be a toy box with their child's name, or a hair bow. As they get older, spirit wear representing their favorite local team, school, or club. And then there's extremely popular demand for t-shirts that commemorate special events, or even that show their connection to mom, dad, brother, sister, whatever it may be. The opportunities are really endless. But to get started selling in the children's apparel market, you need to consider where you will focus and what style of decoration and items you'll do, because you can really go anywhere with this. From monograms to sayings, to names, photo prints, there are a lot of design styles that can be used, and I personally feel it's best to choose a style, and that will allow you to get inspired and create art and marketing assets that can really be leveraged as you work to sell across this market. Now, once you pick your style, one thing from a decoration standpoint that's very important is that your garment needs to meet CPSIA compliancy. Because this is U.S. law that requires products decorated for children 12 and under be compliant, meaning they don't contain lead or phthalates, making it safe for kids to wear. Now, typically this testing requires a third-party lab to ensure compliancy. However, about 5 years ago, the CPSIA allowed for testing of the component parts as a means to pass compliancy. So what that means is when you source your garment and your transfer, you just want to make sure that those components are compatible and have certificates, and you want to make sure you track that and log it in your manufacturing process. So the good news is if you buy from Stahls, we have a page on the website that will show you all the products that meet compliance, and there are a lot of them, and you can download the certificates to keep on file at your business. So with some of these little details out of the way and an idea of what you will create from a style standpoint, you need to start thinking, where will I sell children's apparel? Where is my market? And for this, I think Etsy is a great platform to sell handmade products and easy to get started with. There's already a marketplace that's out there. And you could consider launching a website like an online children's boutique with a web creation service such as Shopify. Now, if you do decide to build your own standalone website, you need to make sure you come up with ways to get traffic to the store. So some opportunities for this are like a Facebook page with a marketing program that's designed to target moms of little ones. Also, you can execute a Google AdWords program specific to search terms for children's apparel. And keep in mind, the more specific you can get, the better return you'll get on those ad dollars. Rather than just birthday gift ideas for girls, how about birthday gifts for 5-year-old parties for girls? That will allow you to spend your money better. Another thing you can do is use popular photo platforms such as Instagram and Pinterest, these social platforms, to create a demand and reach people. And so photos are going to be key, so don't overlook that part of the process. You want to make sure that you order your looks in, take professional photos of them, and that's going to allow you to sell and draw demand online. Now, there are other places in your local community where foot traffic is already happening. So consider things like a flea market where you could sell them, maybe a consignment store, an already existing children's boutique, even a hair salon. Anywhere that's going to get foot traffic of your target demographic, which in this case would be moms and dads, is a great place to partner up to sell children's apparel. Now, I know everybody dreams of having their own brick and mortar location and having their own freestanding children's boutique, but I would encourage that you try some of these other things first. If you really want to have that retail location, consider leasing space at a local mall for a couple months. That will help to limit your risk and at least try your concepts that you've created. Typically, you can get a month-to-month lease at a mall, but be prepared to pay more around those core gift-giving holidays, such as leading up to Christmas, because that's big in shopping for retail. So there are a lot of different ways that you can sell children's apparel, but I think the first way to get started is really think about where you want to sell, what type of looks and styles you want to create, and ultimately just start creating them. Be prepared, as I mentioned, to take photographs of the completed looks and come up with the style and what your brand will be in order to sell to the children's market. Good luck selling to children's apparel. Thanks for watching.
Well, that was interesting. Interesting indeed. So most of the tips that you gave in that particular piece were about selling children's apparel, mostly in an online space. You were advertising or at least sharing pictures of your work on Instagram and Pinterest. You were targeting or target marketing on Facebook. And then you also talked about selling on Etsy, which I know there's a really hot market on Etsy for children's apparel. It seems like the perfect platform for that type of apparel.
Yeah, when you start to consider how I sell products, and that's one of our main discussion points we want to finish the show with today, is do you really need your own standalone e-commerce store? If you do, what are some of the considerations? We want to go through that. But for a market like children's apparel, you can sell through a lot of these third-party marketplaces as well. So it's not an either or, but where do you want to be transacting sales of your products? And you can do a lot of promotion on Facebook and different social media channels, but where are you going to point them to ultimately make the purchase?
Right, so there are some clear, I think, advantages and disadvantages by going third-party first rather than starting your own website first, at least for e-commerce. So there's definitely a difference between an e-commerce site and just an informational site. So informational site, we would probably recommend that you can have one of those. It doesn't necessarily take much work to maintain once it's built, but do you want to actually take orders on there? So what you're gaining by going with a platform like Etsy, Amazon, eBay, those are probably the most popular third-party marketplaces. One of the points that you gave was to do Google AdWords. While you get Etsy, eBay, and Amazon traffic if you're selling on there, you don't have to do those Google AdWords and send folks to their page because they're already doing it for you, as long as you put in your tags and your keywords the same on those particular sites.
Yeah, you can actually promote within the platform as well.
Right. But one of the key things that you're giving up is a percentage of your sale.
Correct. Yeah, so really you're trading off the percentage of sale or the cost that you would normally spend on advertising for already meeting the customer there. So you'd have to do the math on what is best for your business, but the advantage of selling on those third-party marketplaces is you can list products for sale near instantly, and it's very easy to set up an account. It's very easy to continue to sell across all three platforms, and it's a great way to start conducting business and promoting and reaching an audience because it's really tough. It can be very tough to build traffic to your own dedicated e-commerce site, and really that's the difference, right? Is once you set up your own website to conduct orders and transactions, you need to make sure you can get the traffic there. There's a variety of ways to do that. If you already have a large following on Facebook, or you're a savvy marketer that understands how to target with Google AdWords and target with Facebook marketing to make sure you're going to see a return on that traffic that you're going to send over to your own website, it's always better to send the traffic there if you have it, because then I don't have to pay a percentage of my profit to anybody.
Right, and I don't think going one way, wholesale, or the other, meaning putting all your eggs in one basket or the other, is necessarily the approach that we would probably recommend. I think we would recommend a hybrid approach where you can put your higher margin or higher profit items on those sites that take a percentage of your sale. People who buy from you when you're delivering the package to them, whether that's in person, if you're selling at a third-party marketplace, odds are you're going to be shipping it. So have information in there that directs them back to your website, where they can pick up those items that might be a lower profit margin for you, but sell well, to where you're not always sending them back to that third-party marketplace to pick up.
Yeah, I think a strategy that includes all of the variety of ways you plan to sell online is important, a cohesive strategy, because you may want to offer exactly what you're saying, promote your web store, maybe even offer better prices because you're not having to give up a percentage of the transaction. But let's say you can sell in those third-party marketplaces. Let's leave that out of the conversation for a moment. If I've made the decision as a decorator that I want to set up my own e-commerce store, more than just an informational site, where do I start?
Google. No, we can, there's lots of e-commerce solutions out there. Some of them are standalone solutions where they give you the whole design of the website. There are still a few where you can plug in just a shopping cart to a website that already exists for you. But most small business owners that I know gravitate towards two platforms, either Squarespace or Shopify as kind of the place to start, because it's a very easy setup. It's very inexpensive to get started. Plans start, I think, as low as, to do e-commerce, you're going to be paying on either one. You can get informational sites for free, but if you're going to do e-commerce, I think you're starting at like $9 a month or something like that on both, around there, and you can go all the way up to $200-300 a month, depending on the capabilities that you want to offer.
Yeah, and typically, depending on the rate that you subscribe at, often you want to read the fine print to see if you're giving up a percentage of each transaction in addition to the monthly subscription fee. But let's take a look in at Shopify.com, because I know this is one I have personal experience with. I believe you've used this one as well.
Yes.
And set up web stores on this solution. I mean, there's some basic things that you want to make sure that your e-commerce platform provides. Shopify happens to be, if not the most popular, one of the most popular ones out there. You want it to be easy to set up. You want it to have some speed as far as customers interacting with the product and being able to load pages quickly to purchase, so it doesn't become a frustrating experience. And then, the standard features like being able to list products, add photos, videos, add to cart, checkout. I mean, those should be basics, but as we're looking through here, what other sort of things do you want to consider when you're setting up a web store?
Specifically with Shopify, one of the things that I like about it is that it has open development, much like the App Store does for your iPhone or for Android devices, to where people are always coming up with better ways to sell product, better tools to sell product online, and you can just plug those into your store in app form. Some of them you have to pay for, some of them you don't, they're just on there. But that's one of the things that I like about what Shopify has done with their website, is they're not the ones doing all of the development, although they do some of it. They have people across the country, other store owners, like if you or I would have an idea for how to sell better online on Shopify, we could build an app and plug it in.
Yeah, and so there's a whole page dedicated to Shopify apps, and so once you set up your Shopify store, you can plug in to different fulfillment providers. And I know specific to the apparel industry, you can plug into people that will actually do fulfillment for you, which is sort of a different concept for a lot of apparel decorators.
Yeah, so if you are, it's not actually a different, it is a different concept because it's online, but it's not that much of a different concept. We at Stahls have taught you to outsource certain parts of the business that you don't know how to do. Like if you sell a screen printing job, you have traditionally a screen printer down the street that would do that for you. What the online sales through Shopify has done, companies have said, well, let me make an app and be that contract decorator, that person that you drop your decorating off to, just online. So they provide additional tools as well. So whether that's printing on demand with direct-to-garment printing, if you don't want to invest in a direct-to-garment printer, but you want to offer one-off printing with that feel, you can plug in one of these Shopify apps and it will actually print the order to the folks that you have partnered with, and they'll ship direct to your customer, blind ship it as basically you.
Yeah, on your behalf.
Yeah.
So that's great. There's a lot of those providers out there that are already doing fulfillment work. If you happen to be an apparel decorator that does fulfillment work for others, you may want to consider how you can explore generating more revenue by creating an app and becoming a fulfillment provider in a place like Shopify. Now, some of the other things that are basic as we switch over to Squarespace here to talk about that briefly is when you're creating on one of these platforms, typically you're selecting from a template, you're stylizing with a certain skin already created, and that way you can sort of have a lot of the development work done, but just make it your own. And it's very easy for a novice like myself to be able to create a website that looks good. And Squarespace does a great job at creating, like it says right in the headline, making a beautiful website.
Yeah, Squarespace really started as a website for people who would have portfolios, whether that's photographers or artists or musicians. So they build it around a certain aesthetic that you can get the look, a very professional, clean look, but the pieces that you are plugging in to the template are extremely important, like your photography, which we've talked a little bit about that in previous episodes. But if you have great photography and you're plugging it in here, it makes you look a higher level than maybe you're really operating at.
Yeah, so let's, I want to preview this particular template that's one of the ones that they offer. Number one is because I like pickles, but we kind of looked at this one easier, and you can see how the design sort of, the aesthetic, as you mentioned, is really nice, the photography work, and that's another key as you're selling products. I mean, you can create a website template, and then you can insert into it really junky photography or photography that's not cohesive like you see in the image here, and then you start to have a poor experience. So thinking about all elements that will actually go into the site is key here. And professional photography, we've done some tutorials on it here on Stahls TV with our resident photographer, Courtney Singer, who's actually the producer of the morning show as well. You want to make sure that you have great images of what you create. So it comes alive to a potential shopper, a potential buyer, and they want to click through.
And then you also, one other thing to think about as you're building the site, no matter which platform you choose, is what is the ultimate goal when somebody visits the website? Because although you may have an e-commerce site, maybe your ultimate goal is to generate a call because you need to explain what you do or you want to talk to that customer that's visiting your website. So you're going to build the site in a way that gets to your ultimate goal, whether that's a purchase on the site or whether that's generating a call or getting them to click a link to fill out information so you can call them, whatever that is.
Yeah, and so Squarespace, Shopify, we'd recommend you research the solutions. You can start a free trial with both and look at the subscription plans to decide which one may fit your business. But the reality is these are general e-commerce platforms. They're not necessarily tailored to our vertical of apparel decoration. And so there's been some companies that have taken some of the best features of these sites and tailored solutions that are specific to apparel decoration.
Right.
And they handle a lot of the things that may want to generate that call that you were talking about, whether it's an art proof or, hey, can you design this for me? I don't like that particular design. The customization that comes along with apparel decorating. And one of those sites that we'll pull up first is Inksoft. So this is an industry-specific software e-commerce platform that you can build. And what really makes this solution different?
What makes it different is exactly what you said. It's designed specifically for an apparel decorator. The online design tool is, I don't want to say priceless, but it's extraordinarily helpful in making sales because one of the most time-consuming portions that we hear from all decorators, one of the most time-consuming portions of the sales process is artwork and going back and forth on proofs and what something should look like. Inksoft and the other solution that we're going to look at gives you or your customer a designer to where they can design their own art.
Yeah, you put the tool, the design tool, in the customer's hands, and the benefit of this is that you also, as a operator, you get a suite of sort of back-end job management software that's specific to a decorator, so you can download that production file for whatever production process or kick it out to contract it to somebody. But it's built, and you put that tool set in a customer's hands. Now, you do pay a little bit more of a premium on price to have a solution that's tailored specific to an apparel decorator. I think you have a minimum $1,000 setup cost to initialize these sites.
Right.
And if you plan to do some of the other trending things like pop-up stores specific to a team store or a dance group or some of the sort of niche targeted stores for fundraising, expect to pay a little bit more of a premium monthly fee and installment fee to get things going.
Right, so the recommendation then is start small. You can start with a free site, see if you're generating calls. If you tie your website into Google Analytics, which the folks at Google help you do online, you can see how many folks are visiting the website, and then also how many are generating calls or clicking on certain portions of the site that you want them to click on. If you're generating enough traffic, but you feel like you're just missing the calls because you don't have the designer, then it would be time to think about upgrading to a site that's more expensive that could generate real sales for you.
Good. And then just to make sure we don't leave the last one off, I know we're running close to our ending time here. I want to pull up Deco Network, which is another solution for print and embroidery businesses that we want to point out. We'll let you sort of do the research on your own. They do a nice job of highlighting why Deco Network, but they're very clear in pointing out the speed that we mentioned earlier, the fact that their pages load quicker, and the fact that their uptime generally is a lot quicker than some of the other competitive solutions is the claim. But I'd recommend research both. We're not going to give a strong recommendation. Either way, figure out which best suits your business. The point is you have some research work to do, because the last thing you want to do is build completely on Shopify and then switch gears and build completely on Squarespace and then switch gears. And then basically you fragment your brand, you dilute the image with the amount of websites and looks that your company has. So spend the time up front before you launch anything. Start slow, start small, as you mentioned.
Yeah, and definitely think from your customer's perspective. Don't just think about what your shop needs from an internal perspective, but think about how your customers like to shop and what's going to cause them to spend the most money with you, because that's what it's all about.
Good. Any questions coming in at this point, Joe? Good. We're free on questions. So let's talk a little bit about next week's episode. Bob and Courtney, we're going to be talking about upcoming trade show season, and there's always a lot of tips to share as far as what trade shows you may want to visit as an apparel decorator, yes. Right? To make sure that you're connecting with the latest technology and what's new from your suppliers. I know we have some really exciting things from Stahls coming in January that we'll announce here on Stahls TV and out at the ISS show in Long Beach. And I'm sure they'll share some tips about how you can exhibit at trade shows to make that a revenue source for your business.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks for watching Stahls TV as always, and we'll see you next week on The Morning Show.